You tell yourself you're lazy. You stare at the task. You know it matters. And somehow, you still don't start. It's not that you don't care. It's that something in you freezes. And the more it matters, the harder it is to move. So what is that moment? What actually happens in your brain? Between intention and avoidance, it looks small from the outside. An unanswered email, an unfinished application, a project sitting open in another tab. But inside, it doesn't feel small. You open the document, your chest tightens, your thoughts get loud. What if this isn't good enough? What if I try and it proves something about me? So you scroll instead, you clean, you reorganize, you research more than necessary, you stay busy without moving forward. And afterward comes the shame. You call yourself lazy, undisciplined, behind. But here's the strange part. You can work incredibly hard on things that don't threaten you. You'll help other people. You'll meet deadlines at work. You'll handle responsibilities. Yet when it's something tied to your identity, your art, your idea, your future, your brain hesitates. This isn't a productivity issue. It's an emotional one. In psychology, this pattern is often linked to avoidance coping, a strategy where you reduce stress not by solving the problem, but by escaping the emotion attached to it. And when the task feels connected to your worth, the emotion becomes heavier. So your brain chooses relief over risk. But relief has a cost, and that cost slowly becomes your self-image. You are not lazy. Laziness implies indifference, but you care too much. What looks like procrastination is often emotional self-protection. Your nervous system learned something important a long time ago. If trying leads to pain, delay trying. Maybe you were criticized when you tried. Maybe success raised expectations you couldn't sustain. Maybe failure felt like proof that you weren't enough. So your brain adapted, not to ruin your life, but to protect your identity. Avoidance is not a flaw. It's an outdated survival strategy. The problem is, your brain still treats modern discomfort like ancient danger. Let's slow this down. When you face a meaningful task, your brain runs a quick prediction. Is this safe? If the task is neutral, like washing dishes, there's little emotional charge. But if the task threatens your identity, like sharing your work, your brain activates the amygdala. The amygdala is your threat detector. It doesn't only scan for physical danger, it scans for social rejection, failure, embarrassment. From a neuroscience perspective, social pain activates many of the same neural circuits as physical pain to your brain. Rejection and injury aren't that different. So when you imagine failing, your nervous system reacts as if something real is happening. Heart rate shifts, stress hormones rise, cortisol prepares you for impact. Now here's the key. Your brain prioritizes immediate relief over long-term reward. This is called temporal discounting in behavioral psychology. Future benefits feel less urgent than present discomfort. So your brain chooses the faster reward. Escape. Scrolling gives dopamine. Cleaning gives completion. Research gives the illusion of progress. It's like having a smoke alarm that goes off every time you light a candle. The candle isn't dangerous, but the alarm doesn't know that. Avoidance becomes the off button, and each time you avoid, your brain learns, good, that worked. We survived. This is reinforcement learning. Relief strengthens the habit. Over time, your identity shifts, not because you lack ability, but because your nervous system keeps practicing retreat. So the real question becomes, how do you teach your brain that lighting the candle won't burn the house down? This isn't about forcing discipline. It's about retraining threat perception. Here's how. First, shrink the identity risk. Break the task into a version so small it cannot define you. Not write the book. Write one imperfect paragraph. The amygdala reacts to perceived magnitude. Smaller tasks reduce emotional load, lowering threat activation. Instead of launch my business idea, you write a messy outline no one will see. You're teaching your brain. Expression does not equal exposure. Second, separate outcome from self. Before starting, say, this result is data, not identity. Cognitive reappraisal engages the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, which down-regulates amygdala activity. You're reframing failure from I am inadequate to this is feedback. You send the application. If rejected, it means mismatch, not unworthiness. You consciously interrupt identity fusion. Third, practice safe exposure. Intentionally do small things that risk mild discomfort. Exposure therapy research shows repeated, safe exposure reduces fear response through habituation. Your nervous system recalibrates. Share a small opinion online. Send a draft before it feels perfect. You let your brain experience. Nothing catastrophic happened. Fourth, delay the escape, not the task. When you feel the urge to scroll, wait 2 minutes before switching tasks. Urges peak and fall like waves. This is called urge surfing in behavioral psychology. By delaying escape, you weaken the automatic reinforcement loop. You sit with the discomfort for 2 minutes. Often the intensity drops just enough to begin. Fifth, track avoidance without judgment. At the end of the day, write down one avoided task and the emotion behind it. Labeling emotions reduces amygdala activation, a process shown in affect labeling studies. Naming fear makes it measurable. Measurable feels manageable. Instead of I was lazy, you write, felt afraid of being evaluated. Clarity replaces shame. Here's the mental model to remember. You are not fighting laziness. You are calming a smoke alarm. The task is the candle. Your brain thinks it's a fire. Avoidance is pulling the battery out. It gives silence, but it doesn't build resilience. Each small safe exposure is you standing near the candle long enough for your nervous system to realize this is light, not danger. Over time, the alarm quiets on its own, not because you forced it, but because you retrained it. You were never lazy. You were careful. Careful with your identity. Careful with your hope. Careful with being seen. And that makes sense. But careful can slowly become confined. The next time you hesitate, don't ask, what's wrong with me? Ask, what am I trying to protect? That question changes everything. Because once you see the protection, you can decide whether you still need it. And maybe the life you've been postponing isn't waiting for more discipline. It's waiting for you to feel safe enough to begin.